Hey, my name is Morgan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make homemade sourdough bread in the easiest, simplest, budget-friendly recipe that I know. If you already kind of know how to do your sourdough, I'm not going to be teaching how to feed the sourdough or anything like that in this video. I make this sourdough bread almost every day. It's just a part of my routine and it's super easy. It doesn't have very many ingredients. You're going to love it. All my children love it. Here we go. These are the things you need. You need some sourdough. This is my sourdough. I have 8 children, so I make about 4 of these loaves. You're going to need some salt. I use this Himalayan pink salt. You can also use whatever kind of salt you need. You need some honey. So this is raw honey, and this is honey I got at Sam's Club. I use this regular honey that I get at Sam's Club because heating up the raw honey kills any of the good stuff in it, and you just need something. I've also even used coconut sugar in this recipe before. I've used regular sugar in this recipe before if you have to. I mean, if you have to buy bread at the store, it's gonna have good old plain white sugar in it. So you could probably use that if you wanted to, but honey is your best option. That's what I use. Butter or olive oil. I use olive oil because I don't have to melt it and use an extra dish. This unbleached all-purpose flour is what I use to feed my sourdough starter every day. I've definitely bought organic unbleached flour before, all-purpose, and I've used that. I've used bread flour plenty of times to feed it, just whatever kind of flour that you want. My sourdough is super resilient and handles just about anything that I give it as long as I feed it. There are 2 types of wheat. There's red wheat and there's white wheat. I have both of them here and I've used both of them in this recipe. You can even make this recipe with all white flour. It's not as healthy for you if you use all white flour, but it still turns out delicious. I do Trim Healthy Mama, and this video is going to show you how I do my bread so that it's completely on plan and you can feed it, you can eat it in however you want for Trim Healthy Mama in an eat setting. Anyway, if you have no idea what that means, that's totally fine. This is white whole wheat and this is traditional red whole wheat. That's just a different plant. There's a white wheat berry and a red wheat berry, and they make different types of flours. The red wheat berry is going to be more of like the dark, more dense loaf, whereas the white wheat berry is going to be more fluffy and light. So for today, I'm going to use this white whole wheat. I only buy the red whole wheat when they don't have the white whole wheat. So you can see that I prefer the white whole wheat, but you try them. Try both and see what you like. And water. Let's move on to making bread. I think I showed you every single thing that was in it. I've definitely made this bread by hand plenty of times. I do prefer to use a mixer. It's so much easier. So I am making 4 loaves at a time. My starter has not been fed yet. I did feed it yesterday kind of late, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it anyway. And I'll feed it when I'm done because I have built up too much starter. I meant to make this bread yesterday and it just didn't work out. They were super devastated too at supper when they didn't have any bread to eat at supper. So my starter's pretty bubbly. It did fill up last night and then go back down a little. That's okay. This recipe still turns out somehow delicious if you use the starter like this. So it's 9:30 right now. I'm starting this recipe at 9:30. I will cook this in time for supper. It'll be ready just in time for supper to go in the oven. This needs to sit about 7 hours minimum for it to be on plan and for the sourdough to break down all the grains so that they're easier to digest. That's the whole point of sourdough and souring your dough, to make it easier to digest. That is 4 cups of sourdough starter, 3 cups of water, 4 tablespoons of honey, 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, one cool way is when I get ready to make my bread, I pull everything out and I kind of put it up as I go. And that way when I'm done, the only mess I have to clean up is the flour that's all over the counter from all my helpers. And it also makes it so that I know what I put in because I'm usually pretty distracted when I make this, which also tells me this recipe is crazy resilient. because I probably forgot so many things at different times. I go ahead and mix those ingredients up a little bit. You can add 2 tablespoons of sunflower lecithin if you want to. It does make it a little bit yummier, but if you can't afford that, that's kind of a more expensive ingredient. You absolutely do not have to add it. We're not adding it today. Okay, I like to add in 2 teaspoons of salt. So I just use my fingers. This is the white wheat. So you're gonna add between 8 and 10 cups of flour to this. When I'm adding it in, I like to turn it down so that the flour doesn't splatter everywhere. So you can tell it's not ready yet because it's not even trying to pull off the sides at all. Like you can see that it's still just like pancake batter right now. There's 8 cups-ish. I mean, I'm obviously not doing the perfect measurement because it doesn't ever take the exact amount of flour. Okay, so it's starting to pull off the sides a little. You can see here goes 10 cups. Okay, you can see how it's starting to pull off of the sides yet. It's almost there, but not quite. It's gonna need a little bit more flour because it's still sticking to the sides down in the bottom. So I'm gonna add about 1 more cup. Basically don't want your dough to be sticky anymore. It's okay if it's a little bit sticky, but you do not want it too sticky. So it's still sticking a tiny bit in the bottom. Some days if your sourdough starter is more liquidy than others. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna pull it out so that you can see exactly what it looks like. So once I get this all mixed up, I like to form it into some form of a circle or just something that I can cut into 4 equal pieces. So usually it's a circle, just cut it into about 4 equal pieces. You know you can reuse parchment paper, so I reuse it until I can't reuse it anymore. I don't know, they say you can use it like 6 times. I'm not sure if I ever made it that many. But hey, who knows? Maybe you can. So you can put these in bread pans. I actually just ordered some. They're not here yet. I wish they were, but they're not. So I just make this into little balls like these. That way if you don't have a bread pan, like me, I have 2 bread pans. And I use them, sometimes they're glass and I can't like stack them. And so I needed some metal ones that I could stack together in my cabinet. But to put your cute little lines on the top, you don't have to put any lines if you don't want. I've done it both ways. Look, this is not perfect. I'm so not a perfect bread maker. If you want a perfect bread maker, this is not the channel for you, but this is the bread maker who gets bread made every day. I just do a little circle, some cute little flowers or lines. You can do however you want. I just keep tucking it under until it gets smooth on the top so that it looks kind of pretty. The other day I didn't put any lines on it, completely forgot, and I just baked it regular. You can do 3 lines or 4 like this. So more like the traditional bread. I like to do these little lines out. I think it makes it look cool when it's done. Bread. Okay, now I wet a thin dish towel. Let me show you the one I use. It's like a super old one, but it's really thin. I got it at Walmart a long time ago for 50 cents. And I just wet it, pretty wet, not like dripping or anything, just not like barely either. It's just completely wet. And then I wring it out and I put it over the bread. And that is where it will sit on my stove. It's pretty chilly in this house, so today this might not rise up. Some days when it's warm in here, it rises and rises and rises and looks amazing. Some days when it's cooler, it doesn't rise that much. It tastes really good no matter what. It's 9:44 now. I will show you the rest of this video in about 7 hours, right before I get ready to put this in the oven. So before I put everything away, I'm gonna feed my sourdough. There's only about a cup left in here. The way you feed your sourdough is you feed it flour and water every day. So I'm not like a super measure for my sourdough like a lot of people. I do like a no fuss method. I'm gonna give it about a cup of water. And then a cup of water. I'm gonna start with about, I don't know, maybe that's like half a cup. I'm just gonna stir it and see if it's the right consistency. That's about the consistency that it is, like kind of like a pancake batter. So yeah, there's my sourdough. I just fed it, so it'll be good for today. I just made up like a little bit of flatbread. Would you guys want a video on how to make some on-brand flatbread? Or if you're not Trim Healthy Mama, would you want a video on this flatbread? It's so good. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay, now I'm gonna clean up this mess. It looks like a huge mess, but it really doesn't take long to clean up. Let me show you. right, so it is 3 o'clock and the bread is already getting pretty big. You can see how bubbly it is. And this is that flatbread I made earlier. It's rows 2. You can see the sourdough sort of rising up from where I fed it earlier. So this still has about 2 more hours. So it is 4:30. I am putting this bread in the oven now. I'm cooking supper. I'm cooking deconstructed stuffed peppers in the Trim Healthy Table cookbook. Oh my gosh, this cookbook is amazing. I highly recommend it. Okay, putting the bread in the oven now. It's around 9:36 at night because I completely forgot to show you how amazing the bread looks when it came out of the oven. This is what it looks like. It always sticks together in the middle, but the good news is, look what I got in the mail today. I'm so excited. Who knew that this small investment of like $40 would make me so happy? Actually, I think it was less than $40. Anyway, these are from Amazon, so I'll let you know how they work, and if they're amazing, then I'll let you know. Anyway, the kids ate half a loaf today. Normally they would eat like 2 loaves, but we ate. The kids had like a circus performance in the backyard today, and they wanted me to make cookies for them, so I made 6 dozen chocolate chip oatmeal cookies, and they ate all of those, and a bunch of popcorn too. So that is why there wasn't as much bread going. Anyway, this is what the bread looks like. I keep it in like a little container like this in between, using it. So this is what it looks like. And voila! So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it blesses you. Please leave any questions or comments that you have down below. And if you have any other videos that you have that you want me to make, let me know, and I'll be glad to make them if I can. We'll see you in the next one. Are you guys sure?
Yes.
That you can be quiet?
Yes.
Okay, Eddie, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hi! Okay, is everybody ready to be quiet again? Okay,
No, not it. No, not it.
No. Okay, but you gotta be quiet. Take 15. And now I'm questioning if that's right.
I love you, Mom.
I love you too.
Love you.
I love you too. Mwah. I love you too. I love you too. Please leave any